She thought she needed to lose 25, 30 pounds in order to wear that bikini and feel confident. We would see progress physically, and she would be like, oh my goodness, I see nothing. But the coolest thing about this is over this past several months, she put in the work each and every day. 4 months later, yeah, she's progressed physically because of those things she's been doing. But the biggest thing is that her mentality around wearing that bikini was night and day.
You are listening to the KML Movement Podcast. Connect with me on Instagram at Kelsey Lensman. Hope you enjoyed today's episode and don't forget to share with a friend. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the KML Movement Podcast. If you are on YouTube, you see somebody right beside me right here. And today, she is a guest that we've had on a few times, and she will continue to be a guest that we have on multiple more. And this is Navi Kaur. She is a huge team player for our team here at KML Movement, helping clients one-on-one with nutrition, with mindset, with movement. And her background is she graduated at Ohio State with registered dietitian, and she just finished up grad school, congratulations, at Ohio State here. And she is full-time on coaching our clients one-on-one and helping with so many projects that we have going on, empowering women in different types of ways. So Navi Kaur, how you doing, girl?
I am doing well. Every time I'm on this podcast and you do an introduction, I still blush every single time. So just thank you.
Gotta hype you up a little bit. You deserve it. I love it, Nav.
How are you doing, girl?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm actually in my hometown, good old North Canton, Ohio right now, which it's interesting, Nav, to come back here and remember myself in high school when I lived here and feel and see the differences. It's super fascinating, which I imagine if you go home, it's like, wow, you remember you back then and how much growth and good and bad that you've had since then, you know?
For sure.
Are you still there, Nav?
Yeah.
Could you hear that?
I didn't hear anything after you said it's so cool to see how much growth that you've made.
Oh, jeez. I don't know why this is being tricky.
You just froze on my end for about like 8 seconds.
You did too. You did too. All right, we'll chop that out. Okay. I'll just go into a question. Deal? Yeah. All right, we'll chop it out. All right, Nav. So as we dig in, we're recording this right around May, June of 2022. So heading into summertime. And a lot of our clients, we actually just had a team call talking about summertime and how to set themselves up for success. So for you, Nav, thinking of women going into summertime, thinking of women being in different environments, what are a few keys that you feel like will be helpful for women going into summertime with nutrition?
Ooh, well, this is kind of a loaded question because nutrition for summertime actually starts before the summertime. It's something that is to be thought about all year round. But I know for many women, especially if this is another year you've kind of just thought about nutrition during summertime, you haven't thought about it previously up until now, and that is okay. But first and foremost, the big key is to recognize that your nutrition during summertime doesn't have to be completely different than the nutrition the rest of the times during the year. It's really about finding how you can bridge the gap between the separation that you may have with nutrition versus summertime versus the year, because that's where a lot of that yo-yo dieting and that kind of nutrition can come into play there. But if you are somebody that you're thinking about the summertime and how you want to manage your nutrition, the biggest thing that I talk about with my clients is managing your expectations. And this is something that has been a huge topic for us as we think about serving our clients going into the summertime is, what do you want your summer to look like? Is this a season where you have the time and you want to put the energy into you and progress physically, mentally, whatever that is for you? Cool. Let's be realistic about that and game plan nutrition around that. if this is a season where, hey, this is the time where you can enjoy your time with friends and family, let's be realistic about how nutrition can look like during that part of your life. It might not be appropriate to tell yourself, I'm going to work out 7 days a week and nail my macros during the entire summer if your expectation is to be with your friends and family. There's no right or wrong in how you approach it. It's just being realistic with your expectations as you approach the season. So that's the big thing to think about and focus on is what is your intention? What is your expectation as you go into this season?
And that's good, Navi. And you hit on two main things that I want to ask questions about. One first, one second. Is initially you touched on the topic that when we're heading into summertime, usually May, June, is when a lot of time people think, oh my gosh, I want to go outside and I don't feel comfortable in clothes. So then they hop on a yo-yo diet, right? And that perpetuates the cycle for them. And you said, especially when it comes about summertime, that starts, and it's not just leaning out, it's not just having to get smaller for summertime, but that's when a lot of women think about it. So we need to address it. But that starts way before that, in January, in December, in November. So can you hit a little bit more on that topic of why it's important to think about this come November and December and why those clients see better success for them versus address it in May?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you think about the summertime, which is literally right here, right now, and you're thinking about all this progress that you want to make, all of that you wish to see yourself grow in physically, mentally, whatever that might be. For a lot of women, that is to shed some body fat, and that is absolutely okay. But the biggest thing is how we approach that goal. So for example, come summertime, we're typically in clothing, we're in bikinis, we're in shorts, we're in tanks, clothes that we want to, that show a little more skin, clothes that we want to feel confident in. If we think about wanting to look a certain way when it's 2 weeks, 1 month around the corner, that's when we resort to a lot of those unhealthy tendencies of dieting, restricting ourselves, not fueling ourselves with the nutrients that we need, and sacrificing our health to look a certain way, right? And so that leaves us not feeling so good. Yeah, we might look a certain size, but oftentimes we're left feeling tired, we're left feeling hungry, we're left feeling so much worse off, all in the sake of looking a certain way. And that's not a way that I want my clients to live, and that's not a way that I want anybody to live. I want everyone to feel comfortable and confident and reach the body that they want, but in a healthful way. So when we take a step back and we think about, okay, how can we get you to those goals, but do it in a way that is healthy? Do it in a way where we're not sacrificing aspects of your health to look a certain way. That starts with 6 months in advance, a year out from how you may want to look. And that comes from doing it in a sustainable way and in a way that's not going to leave you off feeling in a worse spot. Because what typically happens is, let's say we start that diet come summertime when it's already summertime. Once the summertime's over, typically we find ourselves in a worse off spot, and that's where that yo-yo dieting spiral happens, where we don't really know how to manage the body that we're at. We lost it in such a short amount of time, and our body and our health don't really know what to do at that point. So we keep going in the cycle of going up and down and up and down, and year after year, we're left in the same battle.
Yeah. And that's a pattern. I talked about patterns on our team call about what patterns have you ran previously. Is that a pattern that you run of, oh my gosh, it's June, May, oh, I don't really feel comfortable, let me just cut out carbs? And there's not great information out there. There's some great information, but there's a lot of not great information where you can feel pressured or you can feel like that's the only option for me when it's definitely not there. And we just hosted a debunking female fat loss masterclass, and I had one comment back and she goes, Kels, I didn't realize how long, if I do it in a healthy way for my body, that this could take. And I'm like, well, when you think about it though, if you live to, let's say, 80 plus years, if you take 1 year to truly learn this for your body, 1 year compared to 80 is really short. So yes, but Nav, I know there's a woman on this call or on this podcast, and she's like, Nav, I hear ya. I really do hear ya. But it is summertime. I do not feel as comfortable as I want to feel what should I do now? If I want to make some progress, like what would your recommendation be for that woman that's like, yes, I should have started 6 months ago. I didn't. Now what do I do?
Ooh, love this question here. First, I don't like talking about what you shouldn't do, but I will say what you shouldn't do is do hours and hours of cardio throughout the week and cut out all carbs. Not saying that cardio is bad for you, but also knowing that your body needs to be in a healthful place in order to make progress there. So thinking about things that you should do, we love talking about habits here at KML. Focus in on the things that you can control. Focus on those things that are going to lead to the outcome of feeling more confident in your closing, losing body fat. Focus on the things that are going to get you there, the process versus the outcome. So what I mean by that, some processes that we work on with our clients is, okay, we can maybe control how many days out of the week we go to the gym or go on walks and move our bodies, knowing that that specific process can lead to the outcome of feeling more confident in your clothing. Focusing in on maybe what we're eating. This doesn't mean thinking about what you can or you can't eat, but let's focus on nutritious options. What are more nutritious things that I can add? Hey, what can I make 2 out of my 3 meals that I have during the day a little more nutritious? Can I focus in on drinking more water throughout the day? Focusing in on those things that might seem like small little things that don't seem to make drastic changes in your health in a week, but throughout the summer and throughout a period of time, you're going to feel better and you're going to see a shift there. And I guess lesson is that if you want that goal of feeling more confident in your body, you're not going to achieve it in a week. And so recognizing, like Kelsey said, that your goals, just think that they're going to take a year to achieve. And once we recognize that, whether it's already the summertime or whether it's December time, you're already going to be starting off a good path. And you know what? If it's summertime right now and you're just starting on these habits, think about where you'll be a year from now. Next summer, you're not going to have to think about this and worry about this.
That's huge, Nobs. I love that you brought into that of like also think about a year from now. And that's insanely important when we're thinking about the grand scheme of it. And you just posted something on your Instagram story, and you had a few wins from clients that talked about their mindset shifts around wearing the bathing suit. That yes, they've progressed physically, but they might not be to where they want to be ultimately. But at the end of the day, their mindset has shifted towards their confidence in the clothes that they are wearing right here, right now. So can you speak a little bit about those clients or things that you've seen them really grow in or help them with to get there?
Absolutely. This was, the past few weeks of check-ins with clients around this topic have been awesome. So I'll talk about 2 clients specifically last week. Both had wins in wearing a bikini and feeling confident in wearing a bikini. Yes, both of them have progressed physically, but thinking about this one client specifically 4 months ago, she thought she needed to lose 25, 30 pounds in order to wear that bikini and feel confident, in order to see herself in the light that she wants to see it. Physically, she's probably progressed around 10, 15 pounds. And yes, she has made changes there. But the coolest thing about this is this client used to be so hard on herself. We would see progress physically and she would be like, oh my goodness, I see nothing. And there's nothing wrong with that. It can be very difficult for many people to see themselves in a new light. But what is so cool is over this past several months, she put in the work each and every day. She took the action of preparing nutritious meals, moving her body in the way that she could. And she is a mama of 2, and she does her workouts at home 3 times a week with her kiddos around and fits it in when she can. And so she is an awesome example of putting in the energy for her in a way that works for her. And with that, her confidence came from the action of doing things, from showing up for herself and keeping the promises that she makes for herself for eating nutritious meals and working out. And come 4 months later, yeah, she's progressed physically because of those things she's been doing. But the biggest thing is that her mentality around wearing that bikini was night and day. It was, hey, I feel awesome wearing this bikini. Yes, I've progressed physically, but my mentality around how confident I can feel in this has completely changed. Yes, it maybe had to do a little bit with progressing physically, and that is absolutely okay. You can always have those physical goals, but if the mentality piece isn't there, you're not going to be able to see yourself in that confident light. And that was just the coolest thing ever to see her transform and feel confident, yes, because of the physical aspect, but more so because of her mentality around wearing that bikini. And it was the coolest thing.
That's amazing. And you said there, Nobs, you said that she found her confidence in the doing, the things that
Yeah.
her little habits that you just talked about. She did her
Mhm.
little habits repeatedly. And was she perfect? Perfect, probably? No. Am I perfect? Heck no. But she repeatedly showed up for herself. And I will say this until I'm blue in the face, is that self-confidence is self-trust, is when you say you're going to do something, and it could be the smallest thing, like drinking your glass of water first thing in the morning, but when you repeatedly do it, you know, and you can feel it deeply that you're showing up for you. And that confidence is a different type of confidence versus just seeing what you see in the mirror. Like, it's just this, now I don't know how to explain it, maybe you can explain it better, but it's just like this deep visceral feeling of, I'm on the right path because I'm showing up for me. Am I perfect? No, but I'm showing up in a different way than I've done before. Does that hit home, or does that make sense with you, Nav?
Absolutely, because you're being authentic with yourself. You're not just doing these crash diets and trying to thinking that getting a smaller body is what's going to lead to that confidence. Because I can think that many women have gotten to a place where they got to the size that they think that they would make them confident, and then they realize, like, oh shoot, like, I'm still not that confident. And so when you just do the things and you show up for yourself, you have this whole other appreciation. You have this fire lit under you because you know you're doing the things that not everyone is going to be willing to do to get to where you want to be. And that's just the coolest feeling, and no one can take that away from you.
No. And that will come, and I will tell this from experience. No matter how lean you get, how tiny you think you want to be, you will always nitpick something. I'm not going to say always, that's a strong word. You most oftentimes will say, ooh, I want to improve this, or ooh, I want to improve that. So for many women, they have a goal of, I just want to get smaller and tinier. And when I get there, I'm going to feel this confidence. I'm going to feel this way that I want to feel. When let's flip that on its head, of that's a byproduct of what you're doing day in and day out. And when you feel this strength, not just working out in a gym, even though that's important, but you feel this inner strength of, like, I'm showing up for me in a completely different way, that's the good stuff. And
Yeah.
that's the feeling that women, in my opinion, are striving for. They think it's this, but many times it's actually this, and the physical is a byproduct of that.
Absolutely. And I had something similar happen to me. I talked about this on my Instagram story as well, where um, the same client that had the win with wearing the bikini mentally, she had another goal of wanting to fit into a pair of jeans that she had in her closet.
Mhm.
Appropriate goal. That's awesome there. But the coolest thing about it is in her check in, she also talked about how she had a non scale victory of she went into her closet, and instead of beating herself up if she picked a piece of clothing that didn't fit her appropriately, she was able to find something that flatters her and just move on with her day. And what's so cool about that is she thought that fitting into this specific pair of jeans was going to solve all of her problems of confidence. And while, yeah, that still might be a goal that she wants to have, she is still content with where she's at right now and mentally able to not have her entire day be derailed if she can't fit into those pair of jeans yet, but also know she's doing the things day in and day out to get her to that goal if that's something that she still wants to achieve there. And for myself, I had something similar happen to where a couple months ago I just cleared out my entire closet, and I am the same stature, the same kind of weight, I guess, that I was 4 years ago, but my body composition has changed. And I've had to size up 1 or 2 sizes in my clothes. And in the past, summer after summer, I would always try to fit into my clothes from 5, 7 years ago. And finally, I reached a point that I was like, you know what? Why can't I just go and get clothes that flatter me and fit me and make me feel good? And the reason why I'm able to be at that point, even though sizing up for many women can be so scary, of like, oh my goodness, I've gained weight, like this is not where I want to be. For me, it shows me that I've put on muscle and I am a healthful individual. I'm the healthiest I've ever been because of what I put in my body, how I move my body, how I mentally think about things. And I'm a size up. And that might be kind of like a mental mess up for people, like how can that even be? But it just goes to show like how you mentally approach the situation, how you mentally view yourself has such a huge impact on your physical body and how you go about yourself day in, day out.
And now this is what I'm going to brag about you for a little bit. This is what I appreciate about you is because you do so much work between your ears mentally, physically, that you are not just saying this to say it. You truly embody what you say. And it's not just talk, and then granted, we're not all rainbows and sunshine all the time by any means, but you truly now do the work that you talk to with clients and you've been in different areas. So I just want to say I appreciate that. And for the girl out here that's listening to this and she's going into her closet and she sees the size whatever and she tries to fit them on and it is not fitting and she has that breakdown of, oh my gosh, what would you say to her?
Your size doesn't define you. How you mentally view yourself defines you, and you're the only one that can define that. It's easier said than done, but the theme of what we've talked about today is showing up for yourself, doing those habits day in and day out, controlling what you can control, and going through those ups and downs to get to a place where you're more confident, you're more comfortable in your skin. You can be content with where you are now, but also want to strive for more in the future. It has to come from a place of love, not from a place of hate.
Mm-hmm. And on that same note, a size 4 in one company can be a size equally size 8 in another, a size, like all these sizings too. I'm literally like, there's such a big span of what I fit in, and I'm the same body. And same thing for shirts, same thing for all the things. So as you're listening to this right now too, and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to stay a size whatever. One, you don't need to. Two, that whole sizing thing in women is just so outrageous that it's crazy. So I just want to like put that nugget in there too of like, put on what you feel comfortable in. Put on what you're rocking and what you feel amazing in there. And that in of itself, don't worry about any of the other things. Keep focusing on those habits, those pieces that you can control. And so as we kind of bring it back full circle, Nav, for those people that want to take a start, that want to progress in some type of way, what are 2 things that action items that you would say, this is a great start for you?
Oh, great question here. And this is something that can be different for every person, dependent upon like where you're at. But if you feel like you are someone that's kind of at rock bottom, has nowhere to go, has no idea what to do, just start. Look at what you're currently doing right now. What are 2 things that you can kind of improve on or enhance a little bit? And I talk about those habits, and I'll always talk about those every time I'm on here, I'm sure. But look at maybe your meals. Look at your nutrition. What's maybe one thing that you can improve there? Can you add an extra vegetable? Can you drink an extra glass of water? What's that one small thing that you can improve on there? From a movement standpoint, can you start walking 5 minutes a day? Can you bump it up to 10 minutes a day? What are those small little increases that you can do to where you're currently at right now? Whatever extreme you want to jump into, dial it back by 100 and start there.
Yep. Yep. I love it. And so now said, pick one thing, potentially nutrition, one thing movement, or that could be one thing for you mindset, and just those things will compound. Those things will compound. And I want to hit on one last thing as we wrap up here. And Nav, I want you to speak on this. One shift that I've seen a lot of our clients make is we have women coming in of all different goals. Some want to get leaner, some want to put on muscle, some want to gain confidence. Like there's just a vast difference. But one shift I've seen many people make is going from just continually wanting to get smaller towards getting excited about gaining muscle definition, getting excited about gaining strength. And this goes along with the habits knob of a lot of people get to summertime and they think, well, what should I stop doing? Oh, I should stop doing this. I should stop eating this versus what can they add in? I can add in a protein source. I can add in whatever that is for them. And this then translates to also the goals of they come in wanting to lose something, wanting to get smaller. And it's a very kind of not just scarcity based thing, but shrinking type of mentality towards wanting to gain something, wanting to further and progress something. And I see their mentality shift. I see their excitement for their journey shift as soon as they shift that mentality. So can you speak a little bit about that? Because I know a lot of your clients have shifted towards there, and it's an exciting thing.
Yeah, I've had so many, basically, I would say almost all of my clients have shifted from wanting to think they want to get smaller and smaller and smaller and thinking that, maybe building muscle and like strength training is not the thing that they need or the thing that's going to help them reach their goal. And we nudge them a little bit. We get them to slowly start getting into the gym and putting in the energy into strength training. And it's one of those things where you start doing it, you just love it. And then what's so cool about these women is that they get to see wins pretty quickly in the gym. They see that they're able to add 5 pounds to their squat. They're able to see these wins compound in a pretty short period of time. And us as humans like to see those quick wins. And I think it's one of those things that they realize how they feel when they lift. They can start seeing their body composition changing. And so they thought they needed to just get smaller and smaller to look the way that they want to, when they actually realize, like going to the gym and building muscle actually gets me that body composition that I really want. And like, I'm really starting to like this. And also they like how it feels. They like the challenge that going to the gym and kind of competing with themselves has. And it's such a cool shift to watch it happen, because it happens with, I would say, almost all of our clients. And it's been very exciting for me to watch them grow with what they think they needed to versus what they actually want now.
And it brings me back. It's one of your clients, actually. She sent me a picture message and she was flexing in the mirror. And I think her little girl was there too. It might not be, but she was flexing in the mirror. And this is someone that thought she had X amount of pounds to lose and just wanted to do that. And, but she was flexing in the mirror and she was so proud of that muscle definition that she had. And it goes to show that body composition, literally what your body is composed of, can be different than just decreasing weight on the scale. That's a whole nother topic that you and I can jam on later. But also know, as your strength training, as you're fueling your body, that body composition can change. And I don't know about you, Nav, I am actually weight-wise, I weigh more today than when I first started my journey. And I thought when I first started, I had 20 plus pounds to lose. And I feel night and day better in my body now. And it's because literally physically too, my body composition changed. And I think that's something that women, we need to remind ourselves of it can look like two different things.
Yeah, completely. I had same thing with me. The size that I wear has gone up, but my body composition, how I look, is completely different. I weigh the same as I did 5 years ago. And I thought all these years I had to yo-yo diet, get 20 pounds lighter. And I'm back to the same weight, but just look completely different. And the power of muscle, the power of building muscle.
Yeah.
So cool.
Amen, girl. Amen. As we just wrap up here, Navs, is there anything else that you want to communicate with women that are listening, whether they're in their car, at the gym, listening on a walk? Is there anything that you really want to communicate with them as they head into summertime for them?
Yeah. Summertime, make your memories. This time is a lot of time for people to relax and enjoy life. You don't want summer after summer to be the time where you're trying to lose weight, the time where you know you're going to hate your body and sacrifice your health to look a certain way. Take all that we've talked about, pick those 1 to 2 things that can get that momentum going forward, and you'll think back a year from now on how much can change from just starting those small 1 to 2 things.
She said it. Listen to her. Her clients progress for a reason. No, and guys, as you listen to this, remember, it's not about jumping up the mountain in one day. It's about taking one step up the mountain every single day. And as those steps compound, you're going to get there and not even realize how much better that was, but also how much you've learned and grew throughout that process. So, Naz, I appreciate you coming on and just communicating what you communicate so well with our team, with our clients that we have. And I think especially it's needed around this time because this is when a lot of us get in our head when we don't need to be. So I appreciate you, Navs. And I know this is one of the few times that we're going to really hit home on this conversation. So we're going to really progress it here. So appreciate you, girl. Anything else?
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
I love it. Love it. So if you're out here listening, guys, remember, it's not 0 to 100. It's 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and those will compound for you, and you're going to be amazed where you're going to be at a year from now. Appreciate you guys listening, and have an awesome rest of your week.